My name is Dorothy. I'm 87 years old, and I still reach for the phone sometimes, not to call anyone. There's no one left to call, really, but the motion is still there. Muscle memory, I think they call it. Something in me that hasn't caught up yet. I live alone now, have for 6 years. The house is quiet, too quiet most days, but I've gotten used to it, or maybe I just tell myself that. There's a landline on the wall in the kitchen, white with a long curled cord. I should have gotten rid of it years ago, but I didn't. I don't even have service on it anymore. It just hangs there. And sometimes when I'm making tea or putting away dishes, my hand drifts toward it, like I'm about to call someone, like there's still someone to check in on. I was married for 52 years. His name was Frank. We had 2 daughters, Emily and Rachel, both grown now with families of their own. They live out of state. We talk, not often, but we talk. Frank passed in 2019. Heart attack. It was sudden. I won't go into all of it, but I will say this. You don't really know what silence is until the person who filled your days is gone. We weren't perfect. We argued. We got tired of each other sometimes, but we were there, always there, and I thought that was enough. I thought showing up was the same as being close. Frank used to call me every day from work. This was back when he was still working, before he retired. He'd call around lunchtime just to check in, ask what I was doing, tell me about something small that happened. A coworker said something funny, traffic was bad, nothing important. I remember being annoyed by it sometimes. I'd be in the middle of something, laundry or reading or making dinner early, and the phone would ring, and I'd think, again? I never said that out loud, but I felt it. I'd pick up and I'd be short, not rude, just efficient. I'm fine, yes, okay, I'll see you tonight. And he'd say, all right, Dot, love you. And I'd say, love you too, but I was already thinking about what I was going to get back to. After he retired, the calls stopped. He was home all the time, so there was no reason to call, and I didn't think anything of it. I didn't realize what I'd lost until it was already gone.
It wasn't just Frank. My mother used to call me too, every Sunday morning, like clockwork. She lived 2 hours away in the town where I grew up. She never learned to drive, so visiting wasn't easy for her. The phone was how we stayed connected. She'd call, and we'd talk for maybe 20 minutes. She'd ask about the girls, about Frank, about whether I'd planted anything new in the garden. She'd tell me about her week, the church social, a story about a neighbor, small things. And I listened, but I was always half listening. I'd be unloading the dishwasher, or folding towels, or looking at the clock because I had somewhere to be. I'd give her and oh really, but I wasn't fully there. She passed when she was 81. Stroke. I got the call on a Tuesday. And the first thing I thought after the shock wore off was, I'll never hear her voice again. Not in person, not on the phone, nowhere. I went through her things a few weeks later. My brother and I split it up. There wasn't much. She didn't keep a lot. But I found a little notebook in her nightstand, just a small spiral one, the kind you'd use for grocery lists. Inside, she'd written down the dates of our calls. Not everyone, but a lot of them. And next to some of the dates, she'd written a sentence or two. Dorothy sounded tired today. She laughed when I told her about Mrs. Kowalski's cat. Didn't have long to talk. She was busy. I sat on her bed and read the whole thing, and I cried. because I realized she had been paying attention. She had been fully there, and I hadn't. I don't know when I started treating phone calls like interruptions. Maybe it was when the girls were young and I was stretched too thin. Maybe it was just the way life sped up and I forgot to slow down. I don't know. But somewhere along the way, I started thinking of connection as something I could get to later. I'll call them back. I'll have a real conversation next time. We'll talk when things settle down. But things never settle down. Not really. After Frank died, I started calling the girls more, or trying to. Emily usually picks up. We talk for a few minutes. She's sweet about it, but I can tell she's busy. I can hear it in her voice, the same tone I used to use. Rachel doesn't pick up as much. She texts me back later. "Sorry, Mom, crazy day. I'll call you soon." And she does, sometimes. I don't blame them. I really don't. They have lives, kids, jobs. I understand. But it still hurts.
I think about all the calls I didn't really take, all the times I picked up the phone but wasn't actually present, all the moments I could have asked one more question, listened a little longer, let the laundry wait, and I can't get them back. There's a specific call I think about a lot. It was maybe 10 years ago. Frank had been feeling off for a few days. Nothing serious, he said, just tired. But he called me from the garage one afternoon, asked if I'd come out and sit with him for a minute. I was in the middle of something. I don't even remember what, something that felt important at the time. I said, "Can it wait? I'm just finishing this up." He said, "Sure, no problem." And I finished whatever I was doing, and by the time I went out to find him, he was back to working on the car. The moment had passed. He never brought it up again. I didn't think about it much, not until after he was gone. And then I thought about it all the time. What did he want to tell me? Was he scared? Was he lonely? Did he just want company? I'll never know. And that's the part that sits with me. I used to think I'd have time to be more present, time to slow down, time to really listen. But time doesn't wait for you to be ready. It just moves, and the people you love move with it. And one day, the phone stops ringing, and you're the one reaching for it. I still pick it up sometimes, the old landline in the kitchen. I hold it to my ear even though there's no dial tone, and I imagine Frank on the other end, calling to tell me something small, something that doesn't matter. And I imagine myself stopping everything, sitting down, and just listening.
I don't know if Emily or Rachel will listen to this. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. I'm not trying to make them feel guilty. That's not why I'm saying any of this. I just think if I had known then what I know now, I would have answered differently. I would have been there, not just physically, but actually there. The thing is, you don't know which call is the last one. You don't know which conversation is the one you'll wish you'd paid attention to. So you treat them all like they're ordinary. And maybe they are, but ordinary is all we really have. I still reach for the phone sometimes, and when I do, I remember what it felt like to hear someone's voice and know they were calling just for me. I remember what it felt like to be wanted, to be thought of, and I wish I had made the people in my life feel that way more often. If you're still here, thank you for listening. I don't know if this means anything to you, but if there's someone you've been meaning to call, someone you keep putting off, maybe don't wait.
maybe just pick up the phone while you still can.